Welcome to the Daily History Chronicle. Each day, we travel back to discover a pivotal moment that changed the world. These aren't just dates and facts. They're stories of courage, conflict, innovation, and consequence that still echo through our lives today. Are you ready to explore? Let's see what happened on this day in history.
Good morning and welcome to today's episode. I'm Richard Backus, publisher of University Teaching Edition, and each day I invite you to join me as we reflect on a significant moment from our shared past. Today is December 28th, and we're looking back 156 years to December 28th, 1869, when an Ohio dentist named William Semple received the first patent for chewing gum. Not for inventing chewing. Humans had been chewing tree resins and plant saps for thousands of years, but for the idea of manufacturing and selling it as a commercial product. Here's what fascinates me about this moment. Semple's patent launched an industry that would become one of the most successful examples of selling something people don't actually need. Chewing gum serves no nutritional purpose, provides no essential function, yet has become a multi-billion-dollar global industry that has fundamentally shaped American consumer culture. A dentist patented chewing gum, claiming it would improve dental health. Within decades, other dentists would campaign against it for causing cavities. Wrigley would build a fortune on it. The military would consider it essential for soldier morale. And environmentally, those discarded wads of gum would create cleanup nightmares in cities worldwide. So how did we get from ancient tree sap to modern supermarket checkout aisles lined with dozens of gum varieties? What made chewing gum so successful? And what does its story tell us about consumer culture and how we create demand for things we never knew we wanted? Let's explore this surprisingly consequential moment and discover how it continues to shape our world today. Humans have been chewing things for oral satisfaction for millennia. Archaeologists have found 9,000-year-old chewed birch bark tar in Sweden, complete with tooth impressions. Ancient Greeks chewed mastic tree resin. Mayans and Aztecs chewed chicle, the sap from sapodilla trees. Native Americans chewed spruce tree resin, a practice they shared with early European settlers. The impulse to chew seems universal across cultures. It's soothing, occupies the mouth, freshens breath, or at least masks bad breath. Some cultures believed it cleaned teeth or aided digestion, but nobody thought to turn it into a business until the 19th century. Here's what interests me about the transition from folk practice to commercial product. Someone had to see people already doing something for free and think, I can package that and sell it. That's the essence of consumer capitalism, identifying a behavior and monetizing it. His patent described a gum made from rubber combined with other ingredients, creating a sweet and agreeable chewing substance. He argued that it would exercise the jaw, stimulate saliva production, and improve dental health. The fascinating detail? Semple never actually manufactured or sold his chewing gum. He had the patent, the idea, the dental credentials to promote it, but no product ever reached market. I always wonder what happened. Did he lack capital? Did he try and fail? Did he decide it wasn't worth pursuing? The historical record is silent. William Semple filed his patent, made dental history, then disappeared from the chewing gum story entirely. The patent sat there, a legal document with no product behind it, while others would take chewing gum from concept to empire. The real chewing gum story begins with Thomas Adams, a New York inventor and photographer, and Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. Yes, the same Santa Anna who led Mexican forces at the Alamo. In the 1860s, Santa Anna was living in exile in Staten Island, New York. He brought with him a large quantity of chicle, hoping Adams could help him develop it as a rubber substitute for carriage tires. Adams tried. The chicle failed as a rubber, but Adams noticed Santa Anna chewing chunks of it, a Mexican habit. He remembered seeing children chewing paraffin wax on the streets of New York, a common practice at the time. So in 1871, Adams tried something different. He boiled chicle, shaped it, and sold it as chewing gum. No flavor, no sugar, just pure chicle, sold in small pieces. He called it Adams New York Gum. It sold modestly. Then Adams added licorice flavoring and called it Blackjack in 1884. The first flavored chewing gum and a brand that would last over a century. He formed the Adams Gum Company, and suddenly chewing gum wasn't just a novelty. It was a business. Here's the key insight. Adams succeeded where Semple didn't because he didn't just patent an idea. He solved the practical problems of production, distribution, and marketing. He got gum into stores, onto counters, into people's hands. But the person who truly transformed chewing gum into an American institution was William Wrigley, Jr. Wrigley came to Chicago in 1891 as a soap salesman. To encourage retailers to stock his soap, he offered free baking powder as an incentive. The baking powder proved more popular than the soap. So Wrigley started selling baking powder and offered free chewing gum as an incentive. The chewing gum proved more popular than the baking powder. You can see where this is going. In 1893, Wrigley launched two brands, Juicy Fruit and Wrigley's Spearmint. These weren't just products, they were marketing phenomena. Wrigley became one of America's first advertising geniuses. He spent incredible sums on advertising, often more than he earned in sales, betting that building brand recognition would pay off long term. He put ads on billboards, in newspapers, on streetcars. He sent free samples to every person listed in the phone directories. He created the iconic Wrigley's Spearmint Green wrapper that became instantly recognizable. During World War I, Wrigley positioned chewing gum as essential for soldier morale. The military agreed to include gum in rations. Soldiers associated chewing gum with home, comfort, and stress relief. When they returned, they brought the gum habit with them, spreading it further. By the 1920s, Wrigley was one of the wealthiest men in America. He owned the Chicago Cubs, built the Wrigley Building as a Chicago landmark, and controlled the chewing gum market. A product that served no essential function had made him a fortune. Here's what amazes me about Wrigley's success. He didn't invent anything new. Chewing gum existed, flavored gum existed, chicle-based gum existed. What Wrigley invented was the idea that everyone should be chewing gum all the time, and he used advertising to make that idea a reality. The early to mid-20th century was chewing gum's golden age. Companies competed on flavors, textures, durability, and especially marketing. Double Bubble introduced bubblegum in 1928, the first successful bubblegum formulation. Suddenly, kids weren't just chewing. They were blowing bubbles, competing over size and popping them loudly to annoy adults. Bubblegum became part of childhood culture. Bazooka Bubblegum launched in 1947 with comic strips inside each wrapper. Topps began including baseball cards with gum in 1952, creating a collectibles market. Gum wasn't just gum, it was a delivery mechanism for entertainment, collectibles, and prizes. Sugar-free gum arrived in the 1960s with Trident. Initially marketed for people with diabetes, later for dental health, the irony is rich. Semple had patented a gum in 1869, claiming dental benefits, which dentists disputed for decades because of its sugar content. A century later, removing the sugar allowed gum makers to reclaim the dental health marketing angle. Each innovation expanded the market. Gum for kids, gum for teenagers, gum for adults trying to quit smoking, gum for people worried about their teeth, gum for people wanting fresh breath. Gum is a diet aid, an appetite suppressant, and an energy boost. The product barely changed. It's still flavored stuff you chew and throw away, but the marketing evolved endlessly. Chewing gum became distinctively American, at least in global perception. American soldiers handed out gum wherever they were stationed, spreading the habit worldwide. Hollywood stars chewed gum on screen, making it glamorous. Teenagers chewed gum as a mild rebellion. But gum also became controversial. Schools banned it, teachers confiscated it, cities struggled with gum stuck to sidewalks, under desks, and on walls, nearly impossible to remove and lasting for decades. Singapore famously banned chewing gum in 1992 due to concerns about vandalism, though it later modified the ban to allow therapeutic gum with a medical prescription. Gum chewing was seen as unrefined, lower class, disrespectful, particularly when done in formal settings or professional environments. Etiquette guides warned against it, yet millions continued chewing anyway. Here's what this reveals. Chewing gum was simultaneously a mass-market consumer product and a social transgression. It was accessible enough that anyone could afford it, visible enough that chewing it made a statement. In a small way, gum chewing became a democratizing act. Rich and poor chewed the same brands in the same way. Today, the global chewing gum market exceeds $30 billion annually. Wrigley, now owned by Mars, and Mondelez, which owns Trident, Dentyne, and Chiclets brands, dominate the market. Yet in some ways, the industry is declining. Gum sales in the United States peaked around 2008 and have fallen steadily since. Why? Several factors converge. Fewer people smoke, so fewer need gum to mask cigarette breath or satisfy oral fixation while quitting. More people worry about artificial sweeteners in sugar-free gum. Gum requires disposal, which feels increasingly awkward in a society conscious of waste. Mints and breath strips offer alternatives. And here's an interesting modern factor. Smartphones. People used to chew gum when bored, waiting in line, sitting in traffic. Now they check their phones instead. The same oral fidgeting that gum satisfies finds new outlets in screen time. The environmental impact has also become harder to ignore. Most modern gum is made with synthetic rubber and plastics. It's not biodegradable. Discarded gum litters streets, costs cities millions in cleanup, and takes years to break down. The UK alone spends £60 million annually removing gum from streets. Some companies now produce biodegradable gum using natural chicle or other plant-based materials, targeting environmentally conscious consumers. But these remain niche products. Most gum remains essentially flavored plastic we chew and throw away. First, successful products don't have to serve genuine needs. Chewing gum provides no nutrition or essential function, yet it has become a massive industry because someone convinced us we wanted it. That's the essence of modern consumerism, creating demand for things we never knew we needed. Wrigley's genius wasn't making better gum. It was making people believe they should be constantly chewing gum. Through advertising, he normalized constant gum chewing, made it seem sophisticated, necessary, and American. How many products in our lives follow this pattern? Things we consume not because we need them, but because marketing convinced us we want them. Second, the line between benefit and harm often depends on formulation and marketing. Semple claimed gum improved dental health. For a century, dentists said sugar gum caused cavities. Now, sugar-free gum is marketed again as a dental health product. The product changed, and so did the story we tell about it. This happens across industries. Cigarettes were marketed as healthful before becoming known as deadly. Energy drinks market themselves as performance enhancers, while health experts warn about caffeine and sugar content. The same product can be positioned as beneficial or harmful depending on emphasis and evidence. Third, small innovations can have outsized cultural impacts. William Semple just wanted to patent an idea for improving dental health. His patent went nowhere, but it opened a door that Thomas Adams, William Wrigley, and others walked through, building an industry that shaped American culture, generated billions in sales, employed thousands, and created environmental challenges we're still addressing. Ideas have consequences we can't predict. Semple probably never imagined Singapore banning his invention or cities spending millions cleaning it off sidewalks. The chewing gum story connects to current debates about consumer culture, waste, and corporate influence. We live in an era of growing awareness of what we consume and why. People question whether they need products marketed to them, whether purchases align with their values, and whether the environmental cost justifies temporary satisfaction. Chewing gum becomes a small test case. Do we really need it? What are we actually buying? The product or the marketed idea that we should have it? If it's environmentally harmful, should we choose alternatives or just stop using it? These questions extend far beyond gum to nearly every consumer product. Fast fashion, single-use plastics, disposable gadgets. Our economy depends on convincing us to buy things we'll use briefly and discard. On December 28, 1869, William Semple patented an idea for manufacturing chewing gum. He never made a cent from it, but his patent opened possibilities that others exploited brilliantly. Thanks for joining me today on the Daily History Chronicle. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with someone who loves history. Tomorrow, we'll explore another fascinating moment from our shared past. Until then, I'm Richard Backus, reminding you that history isn't just about what happened, it's about what we choose to do with that knowledge.